Thanks for the wonderful opening comments, sir. You really hit the nail on the head by making two very telling points, which I wanted to echo and reiterate as well, saying education reforms has to start with examination reforms, because unless you change the way and unless you change the things that you're measuring, the learning of what is to be measured will not happen. And I think Professor Bakshi also made the same point this morning. The second piece is around the mindset, and I think in all of our experiences, it's everything else. Once the mindset issue is sorted out, is only the mechanics. It can be done, but the key thing is to take the call and move on. And I think that sets the context very nicely. I wanted to do a presentation. I thought, given the afternoon session, and let me try and engage more with the audience rather than put some slides up. So I'll skip the slides. Several times I've woken up with a sense of deja vu when I look at education and examinations. One image that comes to my mind is 95. I remember my first international trip. I'd been to Colombo on a student exchange program. I remember as we headed out of the Colombo airport, and these guys who had come to pick us up from that university said, "Hey, let us stop and draw some money." And that was the first time in my life that I was seeing an ATM. Right? I still remember 4 of us were there crowding around them and saying, "So how do you put the card in, and what happens, and how does the system know that where the money comes out from, whatever?" Right? One can't imagine that this just happened 15 years ago. Right? Today, it's been maybe 7-8 years since I've entered a bank. A physical bank, right? It's only through the ATM or online does your transactions happen. Second image that comes to my mind is when I bought my first mobile in 99. 16 rupees a minute outgoing, 8 rupees a minute incoming. We used to use it as a pager. I used to tell my mom, "I will not pick up the call. You call, then I'll call you from a PCO." Right? So it used to be a glorified pager of sorts. Today, everybody, I have a vegetable vendor who says, "Sir, give me a call and I will come and deliver whatever vegetables you want at your house at 1 paisa a minute, 1 paisa a second, half a paisa a second recently." Right? What has transformed in the last 10 years? Third image that comes to my mind very, very clearly is 97, I worked with Infosys. I remember, it was a small company, relatively. My ID number was 2,332 or whatever. I think there were 1,500 companies. We used to walk now and then into Mr. Narayan Murthy's office, and I used to work in a team headed by Nandan then. The question that was asked was, there was an ASCOM McKinsey report in 99 that came out saying Indian IT industry will be some $37 billion by 2010. And when we did the math, we figured that if that is the case, then the top 5 IT Indian companies have to have more than 100,000 people. I still remember asking this question to some of the senior directors on the board of Infosys, saying, we were 99, I think Infosys was 10,000 people, and said, "Do you think you'll ever grow to 110,000 or 120,000 people?" All I got was a derisive laughter, saying, "Oh, that looks impossible. How can we grow to 100,000 people?" Right? Look what's happened today. Why I'm saying a sense of deja vu is I feel exactly the same way, that I'm sure 10 years down the line, 2020, I'll be standing and saying, "You know what? On April 9th, 2010, I was speaking about saying the benefits of online exam." Right? Can you believe it? It's like telling today the benefits of doing a railway booking online or transacting on the bank online. And I distinctly get that sense of saying it is a revolution just about happening. It's going to pick up steam. There will obviously be challenges, but in the last 10 years, we've never seen a bank being looted online. We've not seen mobile networks being, crashed through viruses online, right? And ironically today, the irctc.co.in is the largest e-commerce portal in the country of online railway ticket booking, right? So for us, every exam that we've done, every interaction we've had with university officials, with administrators, I come back to the same point of saying, it's probably, why did all of this happen? Somebody said nobody can resist power of an idea whose time has come, right? And I think this is education reforms and specifically what's happening around in examinations is the idea whose power will be unleashed over the next so many years, right? And I don't think there will be any resistance to it. The only responsibility that all of us carry is to make sure that we discharge that whatever we do in the initial years will form the bedrock for the development of what happened. If I take an IT industry parallel, if the systems and processes that Wipro, Infosys, TCS, HCL had not put proper processes in 99, probably the IT industry growth that we're seeing today will not have happened, right? So in that context, one of the things that we did soon after the CAT issue, I think it became very anecdotal. We had media going all over the town, rightfully so. We had the students up in arms. We had a lot of naysayers who said, oh, online exams is not the thing. India is not ready for it. Technology is not ready. Maybe we should just do paper, pencil, etc., etc. I think one of them almost went to the extent of saying, maybe we should scrap exams altogether, right? So we initiated a survey. We got a very reputed research firm called Value Notes out of Pune. Under the aegis of EDGE, which is Emerging Direction Global Education, we partnered with them and said, you please lay the framework for the survey. They went and asked about 75 odd vice chancellors, registrars, administrators of exam bodies, and administrators of various exam bodies, saying, what do you think about this entire thing about technology in exams? Do you think you're interested? Do you have a roadmap to do something about it? And what are the things that you will do? They also went and asked 400 students in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, saying, after this, do you think you want to take an online exams? The results, when it came as a survey, was quite interesting. 77% of all the people surveyed on the exam administrators, university officials, exam bodies, said that, yes, we are interested in doing something of technology in examinations. Only 7% of them had actually done something till then. 50% of them, of the people who said I'm interested, said that my roadmap to do this is in the next 36 months. So which means out of the 200 million exams that's happening in the country, even if you assume 20% uses technology in some form or the other, you're talking of 40 million exams that will use technology in some form or the other, up from about 500,000 that's happening today. Students had an interesting take as well. 95% of them said, yes, we are aware of online exams. 69% of them said that, ceteris paribus, all things being equal, I will join a university that has conducted an online exam than a university that has not done an online exam, because I think that university is more progressive than the other university, right? And that was a very interesting comment, especially coming after the issues around the fiascos in the online exam in CAT. So what this kind of reiterated to us is that probably we are on the right track in saying there's a tsunami waiting to happen. The just started building up, and it's only a question of time. So what should we, all of us who are planning to take exams online, who are contemplating, do this? And let me just illustrate this with an example. I think in our experience, it is by far one of the best thought through implementation strategies for an online exam. Soon after CAT in February, it went quite under the radar. One of the other more prestigious, one of the equally prestigious exams in India, which is GATE by the IITs, went online. Happened very quietly. They said that I will not do a big bang approach and take all of my 460,000 candidates online. I'll do it in a phased manner. I'll do it as a controlled experiment, and I'll use that as a base to further this idea. So on Feb 7th, GATE took 2 papers online, textile and mining. 1,700 people wrote it in 2 batches on a single day in 8 cities. They issued a press release on I think 13 saying the execution was flawless. We had a 100% perfect examination, and we are looking to take more papers online. This was a press release by the Ministry of HRD. It was quite a joyous moment for us because we had toiled for 7 months to make it happen. We had worked very closely with the GATE committee in making this happen, and the entire technology and administration was done by us. 3 things stood out very clearly. One, GATE committee is as with any other committee, is a complex committee. There are representatives from each of the 8 IITs. Each of them have their own say. As a unit, they had come forward and said that these are my expectations from an online exam. This is what I expect myself to do, this is what I expect the partner to do. So one, why they were doing it was very, very clear. And what the expectations from that. I think that's a very critical first step, because we've seen cases where we jump headlong into a project and suddenly somebody turns around and says, oh, but you know what, we should be doing this as well. And that changes the entire dynamics of the, implementation. Secondly, they had defined a roadmap very clearly and said that in the next 6 months, I'll be doing this. So which means first month I need to have achieved this, second month I need to have achieved this. They thought through the entire process. In the thinking through, I believe that consulted to the variety of people who had already experimented with online exams. I know that a team visited various universities and exam bodies that had actually experimented with online exams. Third, they said, you have to prove it to us. In every IIT, with every of the teams, we actually conducted in-depth workshops, hand-holding exercises. We gave the technology and said, you rip it apart, let us find out what happens. At the end of the exercise, after 2 months, what came out was a series of steps that can be taken to minimize every other problem. So there was a huge amount of learning. Fourth, end of the day, they realized that things can go wrong, and if it goes wrong, we need to take a leap of faith. Right? So, but only thing is, after having done all this, the leap of faith distance was too short, was reduced. It was not like a chasm. Right? And as I mentioned, the exam went on pretty well. What I liked about the approach was the structured way in which they approached the whole piece. And I think that's a learning that we are advocating to a whole lot of our customers on, saying, first of all, please let's understand why you're doing this, because there are several objectives that can be met by bringing technology in an exam platform. You could enhance security, somebody could be doing for scalability, somebody could be doing it for a variety of other pieces, right? Second, then define expectations, set a roadmap, and please experiment. Experiment with yourselves, do a research around saying what are the various ways in which I can do, and then do a pilot, finally going out of the full-scale implementation. It is a path which could take anywhere from 12 to 18 months, but it's definitely worth that, taking those steps to make sure that we are able to preserve the sanctity of an online exam for the longer term to come. The last point that I want to make for a minute before I end my thoughts is technology many times get confused with equal to computers or equal to online. Technology does not equal computers. Technology does not equal candidate confusion. There are various ways in which technology can be embedded within the existing processes itself. For example, morning I spoke about, we've introduced a very interesting handheld technology called MeritTrac, where you can actually use candidate biometrics to authenticate on the spot rather than try and figure out post-exam cases. It's an existing process, does not change any other processes, but it introduces a very small element of technology which increases the process efficiency several-fold. And I'm sure there are several other niches that can be used, that can be exploited to bring in technology in a smaller way and then take it to the full scale. Right? And I think there are tons of other opportunities as well as there. So with that, I would like to leave these thoughts behind and would love to take questions at the end of the questions at the end of this talk. Thank you.